Hey there, viewers. Today I have something a little different for you. It's not going to be a video about the e-bike, but it's going to be a ride along with the e-bike. We're here on the Stavich Bike Trail, and we're going to go explore an urban legend. It's known by different names. The most popular lately is Zombieland. See, here's my e-bike. We're starting off here in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we're going to go, this is the Union Township parking area. We are going to head towards Ohio, but there's 7 stops in all. They're all in the Hillsville, Pennsylvania area. We're only starting here because it's convenient. But we have to go, I think about 4 miles west, and then I'll bring you back. Here we are at the first location. We're at West State Street and Churchill Road in Hillsville, Pennsylvania. This is right along the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. And what we have here is the Virgin Mary statue. Now, the legend says that when her hands are spread apart, it is safe to enter Zombieland. But if her hands are clasped together, it's not safe. Of course, she's a plaster statue, so her hands are pretty much always in the same position, clasped together. So in theory, it's never safe to enter Zombieland. Really, that's the only thing of note about this location. We're gonna head down the hill. We're gonna go to the stop sign and make a right-hand turn, and that'll take us down the hill. That is the St. Lawrence Cemetery over there. This used to be the St. Lawrence Church, but it's a private residence now. This is Churchill Road going down. And when we get to the bottom of the hill, there's going to be a few more locations right there. There's the bike in all her glory. All right, when we get down to the bottom, I'll bring you back. Here we are at the second location. This is known as the ghost train. We just came from that hill up there to this crossing. And we're going to go that way. The legend for this is that you'll hear train horns, but the train will never come, but you hear it. I'm not sure whose line this is. Norfolk Southern, I believe, since that crossing arm is marked with an NS. But other than that, there's nothing really to say about this location. I mean, it's not claimed that people see a train or a ghost train, they just hear it. And I have an idea of what they're hearing that I'll share with you a little later on. But that's location number 2. There's 7 altogether. And in some cases, some of these are pretty close together. Like right here. Our next location happens to be this bridge. Of course, this bridge was replaced since the legend, but this is location number 3. We just came from the crossing up here. And now we're at the Hilltown Bridge. Of course, this was replaced since the legend began. What legend says happens here is at night you'll see lights under and around the bridge. And that's basically all there is to the legend for this area. It's a popular fishing river. This is the Mahoning River. You know, there's catfish in here, and a place where people like to fish for catfish at night is under or around bridges. So I'm sure that has something to do with the lights. But that's really all there is to this location. And it's not even like it's flying orbs or anything like that. So we'll move on to the next location. And here we are at the 4th location. This is the Hilltown Bridge with the haunted railroad crossing right over it. And location 4 is this field known as the Killing Fields. The legend says that you'll see shadowy figures moving across the field. You'll hear screams or gunshots. And the woods on the other side are said to be the home of some hellhounds. Really, there's no can't find anything that really says that anything ever happened in this field as far as killings or dead bodies or anything like that being found. But I have some ideas on some of the things that people hear or see. And I'll share them with you a little bit later. We're going to go to stop number 5 next. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then we'll go to another stop that's not part of the legend, but it'll explain some of the things that happened at location 2 and location 4. That was location 4. Now on to location 5. I'll bring you back when we get there. And here we are at location number 5. This is a location where a murder actually occurred. I'm not going to get into all the specifics and the details. But 3 men murdered a 12-year-old girl here. Yeah, it occurred right here at this culvert. This is Coffee Run, the little stream here. The guys used to use this place to come and party and drink and use drugs and whatever. And they came up with a plan. They all wanted to murder a person. So they lured a 12-year-old child. And this is where they committed their crime. I don't know if she was found on this side or the other side. But I've seen speculation online of where it occurred. Right here ahead of us is a CSX mainline culvert. See, it's right there. And then directly on the other side of that is a bridge for the bicycle trail. And this here is an abandoned railroad bed. That's what the culvert is here for. And news stories said that it occurred at the culvert, over Coffee Run, on an abandoned railroad line, or abandoned railroad bed. And that's this area. The CSX main line, of course, was a main line then, not abandoned. The Stavich Bike Trail was there at that time, was not abandoned. Really, that's the only thing that this location has to do with the legend. There's no haunting, nothing like that associated with it. It's just where 3 disgusting men killed a 12-year-old child. Now we're going to leave here and go out here to the main road, and we'll make a left. And we'll start heading toward location number 6. Locations 6 and 7 are places that had their own legend long before there was anything known as Zombieland. Now we're back heading toward location number 6. This is the CSX main line. We're going to turn here and take a little detour. We want to go over some things that pertain to locations 2, 3, and 4. So we're on the Stavich Bike Trail now, and we're headed east towards Newcastle again, but that's just so we can get a nice view of locations 2, 3, and 4. They're about a half mile from that railroad crossing that we just went over. This over here to our right is the CSX main line. Okay, here we are at this stop. If you look out there, that's the bridge. The Hilltown Bridge, location 3. Of course, just beyond it is the railroad crossing, location number 2. And then the field is location 4. Now, if you can see down here directly in front of me is the CSX main line. And there's a crossing a half mile east and a half mile west of here. I think that helps explain the ghost train, because you can hear it. You can't see it most of the time. You can't see these tracks or the trains on them most of the time from that spot, but you'll hear it. And of course, being the CSX main line, it's a fairly busy line. And then, as you can see, we're on the Stavich Bike Trail, and there's no hellhounds, but there are dog walkers. And there are families that use this. So you'll hear, children screaming or teenagers carrying on, causing a ruckus. You'll hear dogs barking from the dog walkers at times. When the crop comes off the field down there, you're going to have a lot of deer and a lot of other animals moving through that field. And I think that's a lot of the shadowy figures moving through the field. And even at this time of the year, you can see people up here moving. It's far enough away, you know, it's probably a quarter of a mile. You know, it's far enough away and there's enough trees and foliage that you don't always realize what you see. But anyway, that's what this stop was for. It was just to for me to try to point out some of the shortcomings in some of these stories. Now we're going to leave here and go back west on the bike trail. When we come out to Hillsville Road, we're going to make a right-hand turn and we're going to head towards location 6. And here we are getting ready to go to location number 6. We're going to make a left turn here. We're at Sky Hill Road and Hillsville Road. And here we are. We're at location 6. Yeah, it's mostly known as Graffiti Bridge, but it has a lot of other names depending on the era or just who's telling the story. It could be Forbidden Bridge, Frankenstein Bridge, White Bridge, Puerto Rican Bridge, Zombie Bridge, Hookman's or Hookman Bridge, Ghost Bridge or Haunted Bridge. Those two come into play with the legend that a high school student jumped from the bridge committing suicide. Now I don't know what the bridge used to look like before this one. Maybe it was a high trellis bridge. But right now, this down to the bottom of the stream is probably 12 feet. And White Bridge, I believe, came in when it was replaced and it's white concrete. Or possibly at a time when it was still graffiti bridge, but people had painted the bridge white to get rid of the graffiti. Puerto Rican Bridge, it got that name at a time when there were a lot of Puerto Rican names painted on the bridge. And what the legend says is, if you find your name painted on the bridge, or if you paint your name on the bridge, the bridge people will come out and get you. Now, depending on what you know the bridge as, determines what comes out to get you. You know, that determines who the bridge people are. If you know it as the Puerto Rican Bridge, it's a real life Puerto Rican gang that comes out to get you. If you know it as Hookman's Bridge, then when you either paint your name or see your name in the paint, the Hookman will come after you. The locations on this little journey aren't always that far apart. We're going to turn around here. And we're going to head to the 7th and the final location. And again, we don't have to go very far because it's right up here where the stone piles are. And here we are. This location is known as and for the zombie torch or the eternal flame. Right out here in front of us is an old methane vent. And legend says that if you come here and light the torch, the zombies will come out to get you. I think the earliest legend is that if that torch was lit, it was safe to enter Zombieland. If the torch wasn't lit, then it's not safe to enter. Now this is the oldest of all the locations. And we're going to come down this trail here and show you the zombie torch. We're not going to light it, but this is it right here. It even has some bullet holes in it. But this is the zombie torch. I think what the original legend was is that if you came here and the torch was lit, Zombieland was safe. But if you came here and it wasn't lit, you had to try to light it in order to enter. Yeah, as you can see, we're just past the graffiti bridge here. These two both had their own and separate legends. And then at some point, you know, they've been merged together with Zombieland. There was one more location here that is gone now, and I don't know exactly where it was to begin with, but it was called Blood House. And that would be probably earlier than Zombies. The Blood House legend is if you came here and the torch wasn't lit, you had to try to light it, or the witches from Blood House, or in other versions, the satanic cult members from Blood House would come out to get you. Blood House was an actual house that was somewhere, you know, in these woods. I don't know where exactly, and it's been demolished, but it would have been around early on in the legend's life. Now, I have a theory about why the zombie legend came about. You know, with Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, you know, all those movies, zombies became popular. And this area has many, many routes going east and west between railroad lines and the bicycle trail. So there's a lot of people moving around out here, more than you would expect in such a quiet, secluded area. But because of the trails, a lot of people are out walking. And it's always been that way, even in the day before every household had 5 cars. People walked to get where they were going. And these are all shortcuts. You know, they're pretty direct from A to B. You can get from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. You know, in this day and age, you can get from Newcastle, Pennsylvania to Youngstown, Ohio, rather easily. You know, these are kind of the shortest route. Most other main roads you have to travel east or west and then north or south to get to these places. So it's always a shortcut to get people where they're going. But that's my idea on it. And these are the locations of, or Zombieland. Okay, I hope you enjoyed your trip through Zombieland. It's something a little different. I took my bicycle, so that counts as an e-bike video, right? But I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And I'll try to get some more videos made. Thanks for watching.